Welcome to Pre-Snap Podcast, presented by LineStar app. Here's your host, Casey Bubba and Scott Bogman.
And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Pre-Snap Podcast, brought to you by the wonderful people at LineStar Sports. Make sure you check them out on Twitter at LineStar app and at LineStar NFL. And most importantly, download the app in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Everything you need in the palm of your hands to build your winning DFS lineups. We are here. It is Friday. That means DFS preview. We have 2 Saturday games this week, though. We'll get you covered on that, plus the 11-game main slate on Sunday to get you rocking and rolling for another week of NFL DFS action. You can follow myself on Twitter at BDentric and my co-host, as always, on Twitter at Bogman Sports, Scott Bogman. How we doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Love that we got Saturday games. We got Saturday games plus some bowl games on Saturday, too. It's going to be a full football day. It's going to be so much fun, Bub. And we're going to just open up and put together a lineup for this 2-game slate of Saturday games.
Yep, 2-game Saturday slate. As Bogman said, you got Vegas at Cleveland. For now, Cleveland's pretty much all on COVID. Vegas -1.5, over under 38.5. You got New England at Indianapolis, Indy -2.5, over under 45 and over 45. How do you plan on building this one out, Bogman?
I am going to go with the 2 best players in this slate, Jonathan Taylor and Nick Chubb. So I just put those 2 guys right into my lineup. It costs a lot, $9,200 for Taylor, $7,800 for Chubb, and I worked backwards from there. So that's what I did first. Was I knew I wanted these 2 backs. So
to be fair, I have those 2 as well. So
okay.
Bogman said beforehand, he's like, bet we have the same lineup. I said, I doubt it, but we'll see. So far, 2 for 2. Where'd you go at quarterback?
At quarterback, I went with Mac Jones because he was cheapest.
Was he cheapest is the question.
Well, of the starters, of the 4 starters. Keenum might have been cheaper. I actually didn't even look.
Keenum is 48, and I went with Case Keenum.
Okay, you went with Case Keenum. All right. So I love this strategy already. My defense, I went with the cheapest option on defense as well. I went with the Raiders at 3,000 because I just want to save the money.
I went Browns at 31, but close enough.
Okay.
So
so we're very close.
Yeah, we're close there. So where'd you go at? Let's just have fun. Where'd you go at tight end?
At tight end, I went with Jonnu Smith at 3,000.
Okay, we're different there. I went Harrison Bryant at 2,500 because there's no one else alive in Cleveland right now.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's a good strategy. My wide receivers, I went with Hunter Renfrow, Michael Pittman, and T.Y. Hilton at 4,200.
Now we have fun. I went Renfrow as well because he's the only thing they have really going right now outside of maybe Jacobs. Especially if Waller's out, you just have to go Renfrow. Pay the price and don't talk about it. Then it gets fun. I went Donovan Peoples-Jones to complete my Bryant and Keenum stack.
Because Landry's on the IR. I like that.
7 targets last week, 5 catches. He's good in the deep ball and in the slot. Yeah, with the Landry on the IL, that's a big one for me. And then I went with Kendrick Bourne at $5,300 because he's been a monster pretty much for New England. And the beautiful thing about this, if I want to, I can upgrade potentially and get to Mac Jones instead of Keenum if I go from Browns to Raiders and do a couple of finagles. So
also, I mean, Baker Mayfield still could play.
Yeah.
So
that's why this is all in limbo still.
Right, of course. So I like that. I like the fact that ahead of time that you can pivot should Case Keenum not be the starter and just go to Baker. So
who's your flex?
My flex is Hunter Henry. So I did go with both New England Patriot tight ends. He was 4,200, but of the money that I have left, he was the best player, I thought.
And this is why I'm partial to maybe going Mac Jones. But then again, if people listen to our picks show, I think the Raiders-Browns go over. I think New England, Indianapolis stays under. So I went with Jacoby Myers as my flex. So that's why I didn't know the quarterback route, but I figured PPR format, Bourne and Myers, they can each catch 4 or 5 passes for 50-plus yards and get me going.
I want Mac thrown to the tight ends. You want Mac thrown to the wideouts.
Yep.
So
it's going to be a fun one. See, I knew we wouldn't have the same lineups. I do that for a fact.
We're pretty similar for 2 games. Yeah, we're always different on the Thursday night showdown. I feel like we're more different on Thursday night with 1 game than we are with 2 games here. So.
It's going to be an interesting build because it's like you take the cheap quarterback, cheap defensive stuff like that, and plug in the big running backs, or do you go to like Jacobs? I was tempted to go Ramondre Stevenson because you have which I just totally blanked.
Harris is a little
Harris,
banged
yes, I was
up.
going to say Evans. Harris is banged up, but even if Harris plays, Stevens is going to get his. So
Right.
that's intriguing if you want to save some money there, and then you can go up elsewhere in this game. I think stacking the late game could be productive because I think a lot of people will go early game. We'll see. I think the Browns are going to be very popular with. The Raiders' defense might be very popular with the Brown situation. So it'll be fun to see as we still wait for more COVID news to come out.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, they're just competitive games that we can enjoy. That's what we want. Fingers crossed.
That's all we ever want. But what you guys want is your Sunday main slate preview. So let's just kick it off. 11 games for you. And why not kick it off with a bloodbath right out the gate? Arizona at Detroit. Arizona minus 13, over under 47.
Yeah. Look, let's just go with what we know here. What we know is that the Cardinals are going to roll the Lions in Detroit. Kyler Murray is a decent price at 79 and 88. James Conner's just a little nicked up, 64 and 8,000. Chase Edmonds was activated off IR, so he's in the window. Don't know if he's going to play this weekend. So if Edmonds doesn't play, I tell you what I do like is Eno Benjamin as a potential punt play at running back. 4,400 and 5,500 on DK and FanDuel for him. And the reason I like this is because we expect the Cardinals to be up early in this game. So a lot of the second half, if James Conner, we know he just had an MRI, so he's a little bit banged up. Why put him out there? James Conner has a checkered injury history, and he's getting kind of to that point where he's at the point of carries where he is probably going to get hurt. I hope I'm wrong. Welsh and I had a big argument about stupid James Conner on ITL this week, but I've watched the guy play a lot. I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and the guy he gives it everything he has every single time. He leaves nothing in the tank. So that plus his medical history makes him potentially injury prone. So I think Eno could take over in the second half. I don't really want to mess with running backs in Detroit. Who knows? I mean, if Jamal Williams clears, he'll get the carries, but Craig Reynolds was okay. Igbikwe put it on the ground. Is Shamar Jefferson going to be healthy enough to play? I have no idea. So I don't want to mess with it. I like Kirk. I like AJ Green in here. I like Rondell Moore's cheap price at 4,400. And Amon St. Brown, 12 targets per game in the last two games. He had 50 weeks 1 through 12, 24 in the last 2 weeks. So 52 and 5,600, not too expensive of a price to pay. Hawkinson's banged up. I'm not pivoting to Brock Wright. Nope. I'm not paying up for Zach Ertz or either one of these defenses. So I think my favorite plays here are going to be St. Brown, Rondell Moore, and Kyler Murray. But if Chase Edmonds is out, then I do like Eno as a punt play at running back.
I like the Eno call if Edmonds is out. I think Edmonds suits up. Just a matter of how much they use him. As you said, he's banged up. I don't think they'll need to use him a lot, so Eno still could get some love in this game. There's other options that are cheap that have more of a stable role, though, so we'll talk about them later. Kyler is a great play this week. Should just beast out again, especially if you're paying up in cash at quarterback. He's a great one. You don't have to, but he's a very, very strong one. And then I love, you could go to Kirk for sure if you want. I love the AJ Green price tag, 49 and 57. Should be super popular. Should be a cash game play for you. He's going to get targeted a lot and get his. So I like AJ Green quite a bit at that price point. And I love the Monmouth St. Brown call you made as well, 52 and 59. We've been on and off of him all season, but he seems to, we said this before, so it's kind of like a broken record, but it seems to be getting the role. You mentioned the 24 targets over the last 2 weeks. He's getting in a good spot there with Goff. It was Reynolds, and Reynolds is still getting his, but his price tags come up, and St. Brown's got more of a stable bulk workload that we're looking for. So I like that call as well at 52 and 59 as an option in this game. San Francisco hosting the Atlanta Falcons in this one. The Niners minus 9-point favorites, over under 46. Are we stacking it? Are we playing anything in this game?
Well, I'm not going to play any Falcons, I don't think. So, the one I could see playing would be Russell Gage,
Your
right?
Boy.
At 58 and 6,000. They still haven't raised him. You know what? Okay, I'll pivot. Yep. I'll say I will play Russell Gage at 58 and 6,000. I don't want either quarterback. I don't want Eli Mitchell. I do want Eli Mitchell, but I just don't want him knowing that he's been banged up, and they might, if they get up, they'll limit him, right? So I don't want to do that. Cordell Patterson's been getting Like even in the game last week when he had 18 touches, he still got 50% of the snaps, which it doesn't matter if you get 18 touches, but he just makes me nervous. His previous 3 weeks, he just was not as productive. I love Debo, but I can't play him at 8,200 when they're using him as a running back, when they're using him as a wideout. He just doesn't get enough opportunity, in my opinion. So I like Ayuk at 63 and 66. I think he's been a good price. If you are going to pay up for a tight end, Kittle is the guy at 75 and 55. He 78 and 75, 78, excuse me. He has been expensive, but very, very worth it. Neither one of these defenses either. So I think Russell Gage is my big play in this game.
Yeah, it's one of those games I could see stack like a mini stack if you want to go like Jimmy G, Ayuk, and Kittle and bring it back with Gage. I really don't have a problem with that if you want to, because I think there is points. I like the over in this game. I think Atlanta keeps it close enough to make the Niners continue to move the ball. If not, though, if you just want some one-offs, I like the Gage call. Love Kittle this week. If you can pay up a tight end, love Kittle. So you have Kelsey on Thursday night. Waller is on Saturday, even if he plays it all. Kittle's your dude. If he's there, him and Gronk are your guys this week. So I like Kittle quite a bit. But if you just think it's kind of a slow game where the Niners dominate, I love Mitchell, even though I know he's banged up, and if they pull away, whatever. I think if they pull away, it's because Mitchell had something to do with it. So Mitchell at 62 and 78, I like a lot if he plays. But if not, I kind of like a weird passing game stack in this one with Jimmy G because he's super cheap, Ayuk and Kittle. With that said, we both just basically said no to Debo. So
yeah,
it feels like he's still so good even when he touches the ball. I get it. As the running back, it's very difficult to pay off $8,200. It's very difficult.
He's going to score a touchdown, but is that worth $8,200? Right? It might be.
It's just one of these weeks. One of these weeks, he's going to become a receiver again, and you want to beat the people to it.
Right. Hopefully, it's this week, but I have no confidence that
it's tough. It's tough. But if you're making like a 20 max type deal, I'd have some Debo for sure. Carolina at Buffalo. Buffalo at minus 10.5, over under 44.5. This is an ugly one, Bogman.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we're just getting to that time of year, right, where you have some ugly games.
Time of year for a few weeks,
right, where you have these lopsided games. I'm not using Josh Allen coming off his boot stuff. I'm not worried about him playing. I think he is going to play. I think in year long, if he's your quarterback, I'm not pivoting anywhere else. But I'm not going to pay for him in fantasy in DFS. Excuse me. I'm not buying any running back in this game because the Bills refuse to run the ball. Go ahead.
Breaking news. I know this is going to come out Friday. Urban Meyer just got fired.
Did he really?
Yes. Sorry. People have listened to us long enough. This is what I've been waiting for the entire season. Finally. And it just came across as breaking news. He got fired.
Yeah, I think the kicking thing. I think that was the last straw. So,
if you guys want to see my live reaction, watch the LineStar YouTube channel.
Dude, I might switch my bet to Jacksonville now.
Jacksonville might play with some passion.
Yeah. Thank God that he is gone. So,
sorry, as you were.
Yeah, no. Okay. So anyway, in this game, Chuba is more expensive than Amir Abdullah, but he put the ball on the ground twice, and Amir Abdullah had more snaps than him. So I don't think I want either running back, but if I had to pick one, I would go with Abdullah at 44 and 49. Diggs, if you want to play Diggs, I get it. Do it. 77, 78, worth the price of admission every time. Without Sanders, I like this Gabe Davis price at 37 and 49. He's very touchdown dependent, but for $3,700, I'll take one touchdown. That's okay. DJ Moore has a hamstring. Robbie Anderson is inconsistent. I'm not paying up for Dawson Knox. So for me, maybe the Bills defense at 31 and 49 is a decent play. But yeah, for me, coming out of this game, even with a good offense in the Bills, the guy I want to buy is Gabe Davis at 3,700.
Yeah, not a ton I want in this game, but Davis is my top guy, especially if Emmanuel Sanders is out, which it looks like he will be. So I like Gabe Davis, 37 and 49. I like him quite a bit. I will say I know the Buffalo secondary is very good, but Robbie Anderson the last couple of weeks has actually looked good. Like PJ Walker and Cam Newton were forcing him the football. So Anderson at his price tag at 48 and 58, if you want to be super contrarian, it's not the worst play in the world. I could totally see that being an option for you. It's not my favorite play, but it's not my worst. I like Gabe Davis. Don't mind Robbie Anderson. I think the Bills defense, though, at 31 and 49 is a very, very strong play because if anything we can count on, it's Cam Newton turning the football over. So
But
we
I
got
mean,
Dak
how
going
much
for
is
us.
he going to play until he
Well,
turns
I
the
count on
ball
PJ
over?
Walker doing the same thing.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, they're really not that different, sadly enough, right now.
Right.
Cincinnati at Denver. Denver minus 2.5, over under 44.
Oh, there's stuff to buy here. Finally,
Yes.
I like Joe Burrow at 61 and 73. I think that's a decent price for him. Mixon at 72 and 83 is fine. Not my favorite buy, but I get it. Javonte, I know he's a little nicked up. He came up with a knee on Wednesday on the injury report. I think he's going to be fine. So I would love to buy Javonte in this game. And at 61 and 7,000, I think that's a great price for him. Jamar Chase, always worth the price of admission, and he's 71 and 75. That's fine. But I really like T. Higgins at 65 and 68. I know he has a little bit of an ankle thing too, but who in the league at this point is not
Everyone's
dragging
banged up.
around something,
Yep.
right? So I'm not too worried about his ankle thing, and he's still limited in practice and not missing practice, which means he's going to be fine to play. I don't trust any receiving option for Denver. So they're completely out for me. Albert O's not bad at 33, but I think we can find a better cheap tight end. I just don't trust Teddy at all. So my big play here is Javonte and T. Higgins at their price.
I like those calls. I like them a lot. I think if you want to stack up Burrow, it's been ugly, but he's still putting up over 20 fantasy points each of the last 2 weeks. I think they're going to do it again this week. So Burrow's in play. I think it's a good bounce back spot for Mixon. Like the Denver defense is good, yes, but I believe in this Cincinnati offense a lot. And we've seen teams be able to score on Denver from time to time. This could be one of them. It could be a mess too. It's a road game. I could be totally wrong, but like Mixon should get his. But I like a Burrow with, if you want to go chase, you can. But I think Burrow, Mixon, and Higgins. You mentioned Higgins. He's 65 and 68. I like that for starters. Secondly, I'm a guy that likes listening to coach speak, players speak, and everything. And sometimes I'm wrong, and sometimes very wrong. But Joe Burrow flat out came out this week and said, I love seeing the development of T. Higgins. I love seeing the player he is. I love the connection we have. And I hope we get to play at least 10 more years together.
I like that.
Yeah,
I hate the Bengals,
yeah,
but I do. I like what they've done over there. They've built very
a good
smartly.
team around Burrow, a good young team around Burrow. So I like Higgins this week. I think it's one of those big weeks to get it going. Chase is always a tournament play if you want, but give me some Higgins in this one, and that's probably about it. Like honestly, if you want to go Bengals defense at 29, I don't hate it.
Yeah,
don't hate it because Teddy just doesn't do it for me. But could be totally wrong. We both like Cincinnati in this game. We've seen Denver shut teams down, so it would be weird. It could happen, but I'm not counting on it anymore. We have Dallas at the New York Giants. Dallas on the road, minus 10.5. Bogman, over under 44.5.
Look, I know he didn't pay off for us last week, but I'm going right back to Dak at 65 and 75. I think that's a decent, fair price for him. So I like it. If you want to play CeeDee Lamb at 74 on both, that's fine. I like the price of Cooper a little bit better at 64 and 7,000. I want to go to Saquon. I just can't pay up for him. I can't do it. I'd rather pay for Zeke at 73 and 67. I don't want to mess with Pollard with the plantar fascia. But I think my big buys here are going to be Dak, and I would pay up for CeeDee Lamb. I'm not messing with any Giants. You can't trust any wide receiver they have. I like Schultz, but as you know, Schultz has been letting us down over the last couple of weeks. So yeah, I think my big buys are paying up for Dak and for CD.
Yeah, I don't mind Dak at all. It was frustrating last week because he passed it to everybody. Everybody but Schultz. CD, Gallup, and Cooper all got theirs. And I like CD again, 7,400. People will pay down for Cooper, take the discount. I think CD's very, very much in play. And I have no problem going back to Schultz. I've said it a lot. You can pass on the Giants at the tight end position. That's the thing you could do this year in a big, big way. So Schultz at 49 and 56 could be a nice bounce back spot. I like that one quite a bit. Only Giant I like is Saquon. I know it's 65 and 73. It's inconsistent, but we saw him get the rock last week. They're going to have to give him the rock this week. They have any prayer of keeping this close. Yeah. So I think he's in play. I prefer to go to the passing game of the Cowboys, and I think they're going to have a field day against the Giants. We both think they cover this game, which means giddy up, partner. Green Bay at Baltimore. Green Bay minus 5.5 on this one, over under 43.5. As we said on the pick show, go Pack go.
Yeah, go Pack go. Look, I'll tell you what, if it is Huntley, don't mind his price at 54 and 64. Obviously can't depend on that, but I will pay for Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is very expensive. I get it, 75 and 76. But we're talking about one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL, and they just lost their best pass defender in Marlon Humphrey 2 weeks ago against Pittsburgh. So I just expect them to get torched. So for that as well, I'm a pay up on Devontae Adams, 8,900, 8,500. I get it. He's super expensive. Don't want to pay that much, but I think this is a spot where you can pay for him. I'd still rather go AJ Dillon over Aaron Jones because I still think they're just limiting Aaron Jones a little bit. I think he had 8 touches last week, right? So scored twice, which is good enough, but I want the grinder in this game, especially because I think they're going to get up and, probably be able to play some backups here. I think MVS is on the table at 49 and 55. I think Alan Lazar's on the table at 4,500. Bateman at 5,058. If Huntley's in, I think he's one of his favorite targets. And anytime you want to pay up for Mark Andrews, I'm about it. So my big buys here are going to be Rodgers, Dillon, and if you want to spend up on Adams, this is a week to definitely do it. And most weeks are a week to do it, but this week in particular.
Yeah, most weeks it is. This is an expensive week though, and there's no Cooper Kupp to offset things. And actually there is Cooper on the slate. He is on the main slate. My bad. Totally forgot. All the main guys are like playing on other slates this week. So we do have Kupp on this one. That's good. This is the first game stack I like a lot that we talked about.
Right.
I love the Rodgers side of it to Adams. He's expensive, but you can do it this week. If you don't want to, I think MVS is phenomenal. Like Lazard can get his. I think MVS at 49 and 55 is a great play this week. Even if you want to stack him with Adams and Rodgers, totally fine with that. On the flip side, I don't mind Huntley, like you mentioned. I even wrote him up as a cash game value if he starts, just because he's so cheap and will be using his legs and his arm as much as humanly possible in this game. So I don't hate it at $5,400. And I love the Bateman call. He showed a great rapport with Bateman last week. I think that continues this week. 5,058 is a great price tag, especially that 5,000 in a PPR format. And then Andrews, 100%, always in play. Always in play. The dude is a monster. It's like, I know people understand how good he is, but it seems like he still doesn't get the respect as like the Kittles of the world get. So he's that good though. Like he's really, really good. So if you need to do it, no problem at all. Houston at the Urban Meyer-less Jaguars. This is freaking amazing.
God.
Houston Jacksonville's minus 3.5. Maybe they knew something in that big place in the desert.
It is Vegas, man. You know.
Over under 39.5. So what you got on this one?
A whole bunch of nothing, man. I know we're excited that Urban got fired, but is that going to make Trevor Lawrence turn into a 5-touchdown guy? I don't think so.
Could make James Robinson get 20 carries.
It could, and he's very cheap at 54 and 6,300. So Robinson is your one buy here in this game. I would love to see something new break, but I don't know who it's going to be. I could tell you I like Cooks at 58 and 69 is not a bad price, but I'm not going to list him as one of my guys this week. Robinson could be one of my guys here. Also don't want any tight ends in this game. You know what? I take that back. Brevin Jordan at 2,800 and 4,900 is an absolutely free square. So I will take him at that cheap price. But honestly, I don't want to invest too much in this game because I don't want to have to sit and watch any of it. So, Robinson's a maybe, Jordan's a maybe. That's about it for me.
It's an ugly game, but there is, if you want to take GPP risks, Davis Mills, Brandon Cooks, Brevin Jordan, cheap, very intriguing stack. That's all I'm going to say. Very intriguing.
If Mills throws excited about this game now that
if Mills throws 300 plus, this is very much intriguing yet again. So I think Mills, Cooks, Jordan. I like James Robinson at 54 and 63. I kind of liked him already a little bit. I like him a lot more with Urban out of town. A lot more with Urban out of town. Like I'm very pumped on this one with James Robinson at 54 and 63. This is Christmas morning. We're like a week away. This is freaking awesome. But I think it's where I'm going to stop with this game because it still is a bad football game between two bad football teams.
Right.
But how many times have we seen two bad football teams come out with like 50 points?
Yeah, that's true. So I don't know if these are the teams to come out with 50 points, though.
Yeah, you're true. But You never know.
He's so excited. You should see his face. Definitely turn on the YouTube this week to see Bub's face. He is brimming with excitement here.
So good. So good. Maybe Trevor Lawrence actually throws for like 300 yards this week for the first time all year. It's going to be freaking awesome. I might have to watch this game.
Yes. No, come on. Let's not act crazy.
No, I'm not going to watch this game. I'm being sarcastic there, but I might watch the highlights. Jets at the Miami Dolphins. Miami -10 over under 42 coming off the bye week, stomping the Jets.
Dude, how about Tua? About Tua?
Always affordable.
He's always affordable, but this week in particular, with your entire running back room under COVID protocols here, I don't know who's going to be running the ball for this team. So I love Tua. I love Waddle at his price. Waddle you can play at any point. I'm not going to go to Michael Carter's first game off the IR. I think he could be limited. Waddle's a little more expensive, but he's still not up into that upper echelon of the Adams and guys like that. And he's playing kind of at that level. He's at the Higgins price. He's just a little bit more expensive than Higgins. So if I had to pick between them, I'd go with Higgins. Just because he's a little bit cheaper, but I do like Jalen Waddle here. Don't like anything with the Jets receiving game because they just, Zach Wilson can't get anybody the ball here.
He's bad, very bad.
Not going to pay up for Gesicki. I'd rather just pay up or down at that spot. I tell you what, though, Dolphins defense at 37 and 5,000, not a bad price at all.
Yeah, I like Tua quite a bit this week. I think Waddle at 66 and 71 is too cheap for this matchup. And I love Devontae Parker at 43 and 58. I really like that price tag. So I might be foolish in that one, but again, with no running game, I think they're throwing it a ton. So I'm a fan of that. If you want a GPP play, Matt Collins is 31 and 51. He seems to find the end zone or getting end zone targeted a lot lately. They're like scheming for him in the red zone. So another guy to keep in mind at 31 and 51. If you just want like a value play, Matt Collins could be a total millionaire maker GPP type idea. So keep him in mind at 31 and 51. On the flip side, I don't like paying up for mini defenses, but if you are, I agree. Dolphins at 37 and 5K. Pretty good. All right, Seattle at the Rams. We have another game stack, at least in my opinion, on this one, because I took the over. Bogman did not. But Seattle and the Rams, -4.5, over under 45.5.
Yeah, I just don't know what's going to happen in this game, right? Like we said, this is a division rival game that can kind of get a little bit wacky here in the history of this game. It has been wacky. So I'm not paying for Russell Wilson, not against the Rams. I'm also not paying for Stafford. I think if I'm going to pay up for QB, I've already mentioned I'd rather pay for Rodgers. I'd rather pay for Dak. Anytime you want to pay for Kupp, I'm good. Van Jefferson's price still confuses me. 56 and 62. I love him, obviously, specifically with Beckham on the COVID list and possibly not playing. DK Metcalf didn't practice on Wednesday, so it makes Tyler Lockett a little more interesting at 7,700. I also just say D. Eskridge could be a free square here at 3,4,700 if DK Metcalf doesn't play. I think he could get a little bit more involved as well. Gerald Everett wouldn't be a bad price should Metcalf also not be able to go at 3,500 and 4,900. Not paying for either defense, though. So my big buy here is going to be Van Jefferson.
Yeah, the way I want to stack this up is with Wilson, stack him up with Lockett, and then go with Kupp and Van Jefferson. That's what I want. And I'm with you. Van Jefferson's my favorite receiver in this game. Price-wise, 56 and 62 is outstanding. And obviously that is because OBJ is out. If somehow OBJ comes back, that changes everything. I'm not sure on his vac status. I am not a doctor. But I love Van Jefferson. I kind of like him even if OBJ comes back because he's still getting his, but it just makes him that much better, obviously, if OBJ is not around. The other player I will mention, if you want to do something, if you say you want to stack Wilson with Lockett and Van, I like Sony Michel a lot at 58 and 68. You can run all over Seattle, all over them. And
you can do pretty much anything you want against Seattle without Jamal Adams.
True, their defense is bad. And I don't think we see Darrell Henderson this week. So I like Sony Michel a lot in this game at 58 and 68. Like we said earlier, you can pay up for like the Devontae Adams if you want because there are values at running back if you need them. So Henderson's one I like a lot at 58 and 68. All right, Tennessee at Pittsburgh, the Bog Bowl, and somehow Tennessee is favored as one -1.5 over under 41.5.
Yeah, look, in this game, there's a lot to like, I feel like. So Roethlisberger at 56 and 66 against this defense is fine. Ryan Tannehill at 59 and 7,000 isn't terrible, but I just want him to prove it before I see it. I'm not paying up for Najee. I'm not paying for Deontay Foreman or Hilliard or any Tennessee back. I love Deontay at 75 and 72. I like Ray McLeod at 3,300 and 5,000 because I think we could see Claypool get benched this week. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but
because of the first down thing.
Well, not just the first down thing.
Oh.
All right. So did you see him in the first quarter stick his finger in Bashaud Breeland's face to get a 15-yard penalty?
I missed
that. Got him benched for a couple drives. So we had that. Then we had him do the first down point thing. Trey Turner come over to get the ball. The ball gets kicked away. Then in the press conference, he blames Trey Turner. He says, I have to be better, but somebody else, took the ball away from me and knocked it around and blah, blah. Like, it's just a bunch of crybaby nonsense from Claypool. So I think because of that, Deontay, Ray McLeod has been more impressive catching the ball than James Washington has, even though James Washington did score a touchdown on Thursday Night Football. I think Ray has been better, but Pat Freiermuth, probably my favorite buy in this entire game at 45 and 53. I also think Jeff Swaim at 3,000 and 4,600 is not a bad tight end buy either. So Toe Tap, Pat, Deontay, and Ben are probably my favorite picks in this game.
Yeah, I like Ben quite a bit at that price point. I like him a lot, actually. Obviously, people know by now you play Deontay. That's what we do here. It's very simple. He's getting pricier finally. Still not bad at 75 and 72, especially in the PPR 75. He'll be fine. You like Ray? No problem. I like James Washington. He got his last week. He's got that tournament appeal at 35 and 51. So I got no problem if you want to go him in a tournament. And then Freiermuth at 45 is great. Love Freiermuth as well. He's one of the better tight ends on the slate. The one guy I will mention that you said you did not want to be on, give me Deontay Foreman at 52 and 58. He's another value back I'm looking for. Heavy workload last week. I know they were in a big lead and everything. I think he gets a big workload again because you can run all over Pittsburgh. The last 3 to 4 weeks, they've had multiple 20-point fantasy performances to lead running backs. So I think Foreman is great. If you, for some reason, think Pittsburgh gets out to a good lead and you want to play a tournament play, Dontrell Hilliard will be used in the passing game, so that's fine. But I prefer Foreman getting that heavy, 15-plus carries, hopefully, at 52 and 58 against this Pittsburgh defense that you can run all over. So fan of that one for sure. All right, last game on this 11-game slate, Washington at Philadelphia. Philadelphia -7 in this one, over under 44.
Yeah, I don't want anything in Philly at all. I don't know if it's going to be Hurts or Minshew. I don't trust any of their wide receivers. They split up the backs too much. I can't do any of it. So there are pieces of Washington I like. Heineke's not going to be one of them because he's a little bit banged up. So I think Antonio Gibson, 6,000, 6,900 is a good price here. I don't want Terry McLaurin because he's a little bit banged up. None of these wide receivers really make a lot of sense to me. Maybe Ricky Seals-Jones at 34 and 45, but I don't know, man. This game is kind of a fade to me. I don't like a lot here. There's just too much production split up among many players here.
That's the thing. It's hard to pinpoint who it is. The only thing I want is Antonio Gibson, like you mentioned. Let a lot of people down last week. I will take the bounce back. Everybody has a bad week from time to time. Gain script was bad because they fell behind early. He's been a monster the last 3 to 4 weeks prior to that. So I got no problem going back to them, especially if Heineke is as banged up as he is. They're going to need to rely on Antonio Gibson to get things done. So Gibson at 6K and 69, I'm a fan of his. But as for the most part, I'm with you. Don't really feel like using much more in this game. Plenty of other goodness to go around. Speaking of goodness to go around, make sure you guys give us a rating or review on iTunes. I'd appreciate that quite a bit. Or check out the LineStar YouTube page. Again, would be a good episode to check out. Telling you that much for sure. Thank you, Urban Meyer. You finally gave me the gift of smile. So thank you for that. But more importantly, we recap things for you. So Bogman, who are your top quarterbacks this week?
The top quarterbacks this week, I got Aaron Rodgers 75 and 76, Dak at 65 and 75, and Tua at 57 and 74.
Yeah, I love all of those. I'm going to go with Rodgers for me. I'll say Kyler to be a little different. And then do I want to be different one more? Yeah, give me Joey Burrow. I'll be different one more to be fun. But I had Dak and Tua written down as well. But give me Rodgers, Kyler, and Burrow for my 3 this week. Who are your running backs this week?
My RBs this week, I've got Javonte at 61, 7,000, A.J. Dillon 57 and 75. And we'll go James Robinson without Urban there, 54 and 63.
I love those plays. I'm going with you on James Robinson. We could be just reaching for fool's gold here, but that price point, if they actually use him the way they should, is freaking amazing. So I'm with you on James Robinson. I like Sony quite a bit, and I'm going to plant my flag on Deontay Foreman. I'm hoping he gets a heavy workload against a bad rush defense. Wide receivers, tons of them, Bogman, tons of them.
There's almost too many to pick through. I'll go with Higgins, 65 and 68, Van Jefferson at 56 and 62, and Russell Gage at 58 and 6,000.
Okay, I had those guys written down. So to be different, to be fair, Van's one of my favorite ones. Again, like I said, if OBJ's out, but to be different,
OBJ's out. I mean, but he's going to be pretty chalk.
Yeah, but you can play chalk from time to time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go AJ Green to pair up with Kyler. I'll go that route. I'll go Devontae Parker. I think that's a strong one. And then I'm taking Van. I got to take Van. I just can't. I can't not take Van. It's too freaking good. Who do you got at tight end?
Tight end, Kittle, 75 and 78. If I'm paying up, I'm paying for Kittle. Freiermuth as my middling guy, 45 and 3,300. And Brevin Jordan as that punt option, 2,800 and 4,900.
Well, we have the same tight ends, and there's not enough tight ends to change them up. So,
right,
like the only other guy I'd mention is Andrews.
Yeah,
that's the only other one.
You can pay for Andrews.
I'd pretty much narrow it down to those four for the most part, and I'd roll with those unless you need to get real freaky somewhere. But that Jordan value, I'm telling you, that's like tight ends. If you're not playing the elite guy for all the catches, you're just praying they find the end zone, and that's what Brevin Jordan's going to do probably. So he's going to pay off his 2,500. So something to think about there. What game stacks are you looking at?
I mean, I like Green Bay against Baltimore. I think the Rams against Seattle is a decent one. You can stack Cowboys against the Giants if you want. Bengals against the Broncos. And I think that's all the stacks I like. Cardinals against Detroit.
Yeah. My main ones, Green Bay, Baltimore, as you mentioned, Seattle, the Rams, Miami, Cincinnati, Arizona. Those are single stacks, not so much. The one sneaky, dumb one, potentially, Houston. Just something weird about that one.
Jacksonville or Houston?
Houston with Mills, Cooks, and Jordan. I don't know if I want to bring it back too much. Maybe you could throw James Robinson.
So excited about
you could throw James Robinson in if you want. I still, as excited as I am, before this happened, like earlier today when I was working on an article, I just looked at Trevor Lawrence's game logs, and it made me feel bad for him. Like they're sad. Like I feel like you or I could almost be in the ballpark with those numbers he puts out there. They're bad.
And remember, at one point, Urban Meyer said, "I want us to have 250 rushing yards and 250 passing yards every single game." Well,
they're giving them up. I don't know if they're getting them.
There's plenty of job openings in college. So
yes, maybe he can go to Jackson State or something like that and get a big NIL guy. All right. The most important thing though, every week is to try to win some free swag, because LineStar is awesome like that. They give out free swag. And you go, Bubba, how do I win free swag? Well, you'll follow LineStar on Twitter at LineStar app and at LineStar NFL, and they tweet out the touchdown calls of the week from Bogman, myself, and Ryan Humphreys. If you retweet that tweet, 3 lucky retweeters will get paired with each one of us, and if one of our guys finds the end zone, you'll win some free swag. So, Bogman, on week 15, who is your touchdown call of the week?
I'm going to go out on a big limb here, and just I definitely – want to win someone something. So Devontae Adams against the Ravens. Let's go.
I was like, is he really going on the limb? Is he really? Let's see. No,
I want to win somebody something. Give me Devontae Adams.
Should I just pick Cup then? Is that what I should pick? No.
Yeah, I mean, you can.
No, you took Adams. I'll have some fun with this one. I guess mine's not a big limb, but it could be a limb. I'll take George Kittle. Give me George Kittle. That was the other stack I think could be interesting. I said, if you want to save some cash, is that Niners one, but I'm not in love with it. But I'll go George Kittle. Bogman goes Devontae Adams. Go Pack, go. So it should be a fun one. We'll see what Ryan Humphreys does. Make sure you guys retweet that to try to win some free swag. But hey, that's week 15. If you're following the Pre-Snap podcast, you got your Picks and Bets podcast. You don't need the Showdown show anymore. A little late for that one. But you got the main slate preview plus a little Saturday preview, all the fun stuff. And if you have any more questions, you download the app. You become a member at LineStar. Super cheap, worth every penny you pay for. Gives you everything you need in the palm of your hands to build your lineups. So check all that out. Check Bogman on Twitter at Bogman Sports. I'm at BD Entrick. Good luck, everybody. We'll see you next week, as always.
Good luck. See ya.
Thanks for listening to Pre-Snap Podcast, presented by LineStar app. Please like, comment, subscribe, and rate for good karma in your fantasy football games.